So it's 28 degrees outside. It's overcast and it's really cold. And the water temperature is going to be 37 degrees probably. But I have the day off and I'm going to go fish for a little bit. I'm trying to figure out how to catch these cold water fish. I haven't been very successful. Been over here a couple times in the last couple weeks and not done any good. I have the option to go to Lake of Egypt, which is the power plant lake, and I know the water is going to be upper 40s, 50s, and the fish are going to be biting better. But I'm forcing myself to keep coming back over here and trying to figure out how to catch fish in this really cold water. So it's called discipline. And I may not catch anything again today. So this is Abbey Ridge Brewery. It burnt down about a year ago and they're rebuilding it. So hopefully it'll open up this year. I don't know, they got a ways to go, but they've been really busting it out. They've made a lot of progress in the last, I don't know, 9 months, something like that. I think this is where they're going to do their brewing and stuff. Got a pretty nice setup here. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get into the lake. There's ice all over the road here. This might not have been the greatest idea to try to come back here. I don't know if the cove where the boat ramp's at is going to be frozen or not. So anyway, but I need to keep both hands on the wheel because there's patches of ice on the road up here. Alright, I've been running around here trying to grab this creek channel because the water's 37 degrees and the air temperature's probably 30 now. It's warmed up a couple degrees. So I've been running around for about 30 minutes. So I'm going to fish this little rocky bank here and I don't know what's going to happen. We will see. Caught one. 37.5 degree water. 37.5 degree water. Caught me a nice little fish. Yes. Persistence, baby. Persistence. Happy, happy, happy. That. Another one. It's been a while. The fish was just out in this flat, just jerking it over top of some grass. Little guy, but well, 15 inches. I fished Cedar Lake today, and I caught a few fish finally. The water temperature was 37.4 degrees when I started out, and it got up to 38.3 degrees. So really, really cold water. Air temps were about 28, and it warmed up to mid-30s. I fished got on the water at 10, I got off the water a little after 1. I didn't have a lot of time. But I caught all my fish on a jerkbait, no surprise. The one I was throwing was it's the Rick Clun. It's called the RC Sticks, made by Lucky Strike. It's a pretty decent little jerkbait. I mean, they're like $8, and it's a Mega Bass knockoff. You'll want to change the split rings for sure when you get it. The newer ones are a little bit better than the original version, but I would still change those, and you can change the treble hooks out too. You know, go with some Mustad short shanks, or Gamakatsu makes pretty good hooks. Go with it's like a size 6. Size 6 is pretty good size for these. It'll keep them balanced. So on an overcast day with a jerkbait, you want to throw something that's more solid color, like this purple flash. You know, it's a pretty hard color. It's going to stand out in the water on those overcast days. When it's sunny out, you can throw something real flashy like this clown, or something that's kind of translucent. You know, like this is Pro Blue. This is standard in, you know, any jerkbait. This is a pretty good color. And this is a Rogue. It's I guess it's that Elite 8. Gets down a little deeper, and it's more of a translucent color. But this is for clear water, sunny days. You know, this is clear to slightly stained water on overcast days. And I had to throw it out, reel it down, and I'd just do a couple little subtle jerks, and I would count to 5 or 6 seconds, and then just do like a twitch, 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 and then let it sit for 5 or 6 seconds. That's how they wanted it yesterday. So anyway, another thing with these jerkbaits is you want them to be suspending or slightly sinking, and ideally horizontal or a little bit of a nose down presence. That seems to draw the most strikes, but you definitely don't want it floating up, because those fish are sitting there suspended, and you want to keep it right in their face, or you want it to just barely be moving down to make them think about it a little bit, because they'll be way over here and that thing's just sitting there, and they'll swim up to it and look at it and twitch it a little bit. They'll get a little bit closer. It takes a while. Their brain's code. They're hungry, but their brain is code. I've been throwing my jerkbait on 8-pound test fluorocarbon. I got like a 6'10" rod, just any jerkbait rod, just a medium light action rod. But fluorocarbon is key. Definitely don't want braid. You can get by with mono. But I think that 8 or 10 pound fluorocarbon, if you're not fishing around a lot of cover, works out just fine. I mean, most of the lakes I'm fishing around here, it's you're going to have grass, but I'm not fishing in a lot of timber, so I don't have to worry too much about getting hung up. Another bait I've been experimenting around with this winter is a blade bait. It's a pretty neat bait. You have to be around shad, or it helps to be around shad. I haven't caught a lot of fish on it because I think the water is a little bit too cold right now. You know, in the upper 30s. I think when it gets into the 40s, it's going to be a little bit better producer for me. It's I haven't been locating a lot of shad, so I think that's going to be key. When I think the water warms up a little bit, I'm going to start seeing some more shad, and I'll be able to have a little more success on that. But the baits that I've been throwing, I got from Lure Parts online, and they're about $3 for just the blade, and then you put your split rings and your hooks on there. I've been using a size 2 split ring and then size 6 treble hooks. Same deal, you know, Mustad or Gamakatsu, Owner. There's a lot of good treble hooks out there. But the painted ones, these are some of the patterns that they offer. This is just kind of like a thread fin shad color. This is more of your sexy shad. And then you got one, you know, blue back, another standard one. And then they got a fire tiger, a perch color that's really cool. And then of course you just got the standard nickel blade, and you know, I put a feathered treble hook on there, tied some of these up, put them on the back. And then here's another one that's nickel, but I just spray painted it white, and I put, you know, a white and olive feathered treble hook on the back just to dress it up a little bit. So I've been throwing this on a 7-foot medium heavy rod, 12 to 15 or 16 pound fluorocarbon. I'd say 12 is probably better. You're going to get a little bit more of a thump out of it. So all you're doing is you're throwing this out, letting it fall through the shad all the way to the bottom on a slack line, and you kind of just work it like a worm. Just pull it up a little bit off the bottom. You're going to feel 2 or 3 little vibrations, just a little, and then just drop it. Just drop it. And you have to figure out the cadence. Sometimes you want to leave it on the bottom a little bit longer. Sometimes you want to work it a little bit faster. But typically you want to keep it within 6 inches to 2 feet of the bottom. And they're going to hit it on the fall, typically. Sometimes they'll come and hit it off the bottom, suck it up off the bottom. But typically your bite's going to be on the fall. So you need to be really watching your line. Same thing with the jerkbait. You really need to be watching your line at all times. With that jerkbait, a lot of times it's just sitting there pausing, and all of a sudden you'll feel a tick in your line, or you'll see your line just kind of jump. Sometimes it'll move off if they're real aggressive. It'll just kind of go to the side. So you got to be ready. You got to really be watching your line. You're going to get a lot more fish if you're paying attention. It's cold out there, but you got to focus. You got to stay alert and look for these little subtle bites. I think when these fish start moving up to these staging areas, you know, early pre-spawn, I'll start seeing bigger groups of fish, and I'll really be able to target them with these blade baits. So that's why I'm thinking when the water gets up in the upper 40s, you know, I'm going to be able to do some damage with these little guys. It's just it's a different technique for me. I mean, I'm sure it's nothing secret. It's been out there forever, but that's something I haven't really done. So I'm kind of excited about it. I just gotta keep practicing the technique and waiting for the right scenario to get a feel for it. Thank you guys for watching my videos. In the process of getting some different equipment, I'm going to try to get a wireless mic so I can talk a little more on the water, explain what I'm doing, and just be a little better about the details. A lot of times it's just, you know, here's a guy in a boat catching a fish, and that's it. So I just don't have the capability right now of doing any audio on the water, but I'm going to fix that because I want to be able to share some stuff with you guys. So anyway, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it.